Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw right here on Superlative Radio. This week, Dylan and I are going to be talking about the season finale to season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Hot.
And we are going to be talking about episode 10 of season 3 of Star Trek Discovery, which is Terra Firma Part 2.
That's right.
And that's what we're going to be talking about. And yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about. Let's start with The Mandalorian, because I don't know about you, but I've been chomping at the bit to talk about it since I watched it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So really, honestly, if you have not seen the episode yet, then stop, because I don't want to ruin this for you, because it is really good.
We do spoils. And
there is going to be big time. So if you haven't seen it, just pause this, go watch it, then come back and okay, because that's your warning right there. That's it. We're into spoiler territory now, because it was just kick-ass. So Mando goes around to build a team to infiltrate Moff Gideon's
bite a mic.
Star Destroyer, and he gathers. Of course, he gets Bo-Katan and one of the other Mandalorian chicks that was with her. He gets, of course, he's got Cara Dune, and he's got, of course, Boba Fett and Sagira, or whatever her name is, the other girl.
Yeah, I forget what her name is.
So they go, and basically they hatch this plot on how they're going to get onto Moff Gideon's Star Destroyer, and they manage to do that, and they make their way through basically assaulting it. And they do a pretty good job.
They're not bad. Not as bad as later.
Yeah.
But
and, of course, he's got what are called third-generation Dark Troopers on the ship.
Yep.
And they're trying to get to the bay where they are before they can be activated and then jettison them into space so that they're not a threat, because Dark Troopers are basically indestructible. They're like, if you watch Terminator 2, they're like the T-1000, basically.
Yeah,
they're
more or
like
less.
Pretty much. They just nonstop. And, of course, just as Mando gets there, of course, they activate, and the doors start to open, and one of them gets out.
One gets through, yep.
Man, and he gets the ever-loving hell beat out of him by it.
He gets a good one. He gets a
but
good beating.
But he does beat it.
Yep.
Finally. Just the whole fact where it's punching him in the head.
Yeah.
It's doing nothing to him because of his helmet, but it's pounding him into the wall. Ding.
Yeah.
Ding.
Yep.
Ding.
Finally, he uses his thing and just gets you right up under. Yep.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And then, of course, you see the others. They're just going through left, right, and center, taking out stormtroopers like crazy, having no
shooting
problem
fish
with
in
them.
a barrel, really.
I like how when Cara Dune's weapon, she's like, bang! That should do it.
I think that fixed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she had that big, heavy, repeating blaster, and that was really cool. She
just watch them die. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And of course, they were going, of course, to rescue Grogu, and so at the very end, Mando does, well, not at the very end, but towards the end, Mando gets to Grogu's cell, and of course, as he goes in stands Moff Gideon with the Darksaber pointed at Grogu. He tells him, "Look, I don't care. Keep the saber. Keep your ship. I just want the kid." He goes to give it to him. When he does, he attacks Mando. They get into a fight. Mando eventually, of course, beats Moff Gideon. And
he tripped. Did he knock the camera?
Yeah.
There you go. All fixed. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah. So anyway, he basically he does beat Moff Gideon. Takes him up to the bridge where the others are, and finds out, of course, that the Darksaber, he goes to just give it to Bo-Katan, and Moff Gideon's laughing about how, you can't, she has to take it in combat, and he's like, fine, I yield.
Yep.
Nope, it has to be blah, 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 which is complete baloney in regards to what happened in Star Wars Rebels, because in Star Wars Rebels, what's his name? The character in Rebels. Frick. Why can't I remember his name? Ezra. Ezra found the Darksaber and he gave it to Bo-Katan. he just gave it to her. And she took it, and then she eventually lost it in combat to Moff Gideon. Now, maybe that was why. Maybe she just wanted to. I don't know. But the whole sake that she can only take it by beating him in combat didn't have to happen because it had been given to her once before. So,
well, maybe that's why it didn't ensue another battle. I don't know what happened to it after because I don't remember seeing.
No, I don't think they said, because it just kind of ends shortly thereafter. But so, of course, they're all in there, and then they realize the Dark Troopers are back on the ship because they all just had jet boots, basically, and they fly back on, and they start towards the bridge.
A whole crap load of them, too.
There's a whole lot of them, yeah. Well, division of them, which is like about, I don't know, 40 or 50.
Yeah.
And so they're all standing there on the bridge, and they got the blast door sealed as they're pounding their way through, and they're like, oh, and then all of a sudden, an X-Wing comes out of hyperspace. And they're like, oh, look, an X-Wing. And Cara Dune's like, oh, great, one X-Wing. Yay, we're saved. Not realizing
who it was.
So the X-Wing, of course, lands on Gideon's ship. You see a hooded figure get out, start walking towards the bridge. Then a green lightsaber ignites, and this big old hack fest. It's basically Luke Skywalker, and he comes hacking through all these dark troopers.
Like nothing.
Like Darth Vader did going down the end of Rogue One when he was going through that hallway full of rebels.
Yeah.
Almost the exact same kind of stuff, too. There's actually a spot where I don't know if you noticed, but when Luke's battling all the Dark Troopers, he actually goes, brings his lightsaber like this and deflects a shot. And it's the exact same move Anakin did in, I believe it was Revenge of the Sith.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
no, I didn't catch that one.
His movements were almost completely on par with how his father fought. It was really cool. And so, of course, he finally gets to the end, and the doors open, and Luke walks in, and he goes to get Grogu, and Grogu at first is kind of skittish, but of course Mando picks him up, and Din Djarin, he takes his helmet off and he shows his face to Grogu, which is really cool, and he tells him to go with Luke, that he'll be safe. And, of course, Luke gives his word that he'll protect him. And R2 comes in. And
it was good to see R2.
And it's really cool. So then Luke goes off with baby Yoda or Grogu. And that's the last we see of them. And then if you guys watch right to the end of the credits, at the end of the credits, there's an after the credits scene where you see Boba Fett and the girl that's been traveling around with him. I can't remember her name, but they go into Boba Fett's palace and basically kill everybody there and take over. It's pretty cool. Because Boba Fett's getting a series next December. It's called The Book of Boba Fett. And
you were saying that off air.
Mando's season 3 will be next year as well. So anyway, so that was how it ended. I thought seeing Luke again, I mean, especially the way they
de-aged him really well too.
I mean, they got another actor to do the stand-in part, but they
put his face over it.
Put his face, a de-aged Mark Hamill's face over his face. They did a really fantastic job.
They did.
But it was great to see Luke again. And
it was
see him as a really true Jedi master, just like lightsaber in his ass way through everything. It was pretty cool.
It was awesome to see.
It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So.
And it feels like the old Star Wars. So it had that.
Ever?
Yeah.
Like,
so it's good to have that old feeling again. Where it's not. And you were also saying that off air that basically now allows them to take out the trash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to gather that given the way they're handling things and the direction they're taking things, I'm hoping that means what they're going to do is they're going to remove the sequels. We just wipe them out. Because when you look at the sequels and you find out what happened, Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren basically destroyed Luke's Jedi Academy, and supposedly they killed everybody. Well, I mean, I highly doubt they would have been able to kill a character like Grogu, because he's so talented in the ways of the Force already that at that point, after having years of Luke's training,
wouldn't have been.
He wouldn't have been any slouch. He would have, you
No.
know. I think what it's going to do is it's going to allow them to wipe out the sequel trilogy because I think they realize that they made a mistake with them because there's no coherence to them. Like, you know, The Force Awakens wasn't necessarily that bad of a movie in the sense that had they kept on the path they were going with that movie, like, you got to remember when that movie was made, right? Like they originally had 3 people coming in to each do a different one of the movies. So there was, of course, there was J.J. Abrams, and there was Rian Johnson,
right.
and then there was what's his face from the Jurassic World series, the director of that. He was the one who was going to do. I can't remember his name, but he was the one who was going to do the third one, right? And there originally was kind of a basic plot, and of course that's what J.J. Abrams had started it on, was this basic plot. But when Rian Johnson came in, of course, he took everything J.J. did and he just tossed it out the window. Like, he just literally tossed it right out. What's the guy's name? Oh, Colin Trevorrow. Yeah, Colin Trevorrow was supposed to do the third one. And, you know, he just tossed it out.
Thanks, Marky G.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, he just tossed it all out, you know, like with that whole shot of Luke throwing the lightsaber over
He's
his
on
shoulder.
it, isn't he? Yeah, he's
You
good.
know, he just, that was what
we'll
it
keep
was.
him around for another week.
And then by the time they got to the third one, like I've said before when we've talked, I mean,
Yeah.
JJ trying to course correct what had happened and fix things and make it
geez,
make
it's
sense.
impossible to.
I mean, I don't care for JJ, as you guys probably have been watching well know, but I don't envy what his job was because there was no way he was going to be able to fix it at that point.
No.
It was just totally ruined. So I'm guessing that what's going to happen is if they're smart, they're just going to erase them and just say these are the sequels from an alternate, because now that they've introduced
Think they can reshoot them and redo them?
well, yeah. They've introduced in Star Wars now. They've introduced they introduced it in Rebels, but they introduced a way to do time travel and alternate realities and whatever. So I mean, it's fully possible that they could, you know, they could do that, and they could, you know, just say, well, these are the sequels. If it had happened in this direction, this is what would have happened. But now this is, I mean, I don't know. But I think logically, if Disney was smart, because I mean, they know now after these 3 movies were made, like none of the merchandise sells from them. Mm-hmm. None of it. Like
you said that a few times.
You
yeah.
go into any Toys R Us. Now I know in the U.S. you guys don't have Toys R Us like we do anymore, but here in Canada, you go into a Toys R Us and you look, and I mean, it's like Star Wars stuff. If it's from the sequels, it just litters the shelves. Original series stuff
Still goes.
or the Mandalorian
Yeah.
blows out the friggin' hell. Even the prequels sell better than the sequels. I mean, you know, when you see a Jar Jar Binks figure selling before like a Rey or a Kylo Ren figure, that's telling you something.
Yeah.
But like that's what I mean. You go in and you see like the prequels, the originals, Mandalorian, Rogue One, Solo. All those movies are selling better than
Yeah.
Rebels. All those things they're selling better. Clone Wars, like all that stuff sells way better than
That's
the
a good-
sequels. That's a good judge of how
Yeah.
people think of it, really. Like everybody says, oh, but The Force Awakens made X amount of money. Yeah. But the thing is The Force Awakens was the first Star Wars movie in like 10 years.
Yeah.
They could have literally shit on a plate and called that Star Wars.
They were
and people
hungry.
would have gone to see it
Yeah.
because it was Star Wars.
Yeah. They were that hungry.
You know, like, and like I said, overall, it wasn't really that bad. It just would have been better had they stuck with the same way that the
That's
story
right.
had been going.
Yeah.
So
If they'd followed the road that they were
Yeah.
on and tried
So
not
I mean,
tried to.
it is what it is, right? So hopefully, the way that they are doing the Mandalorian and some of these other shows that are going to come,
Mandalorian really feels.
yeah, like hopefully that means that what they're going to do then is they're going to be able to redo the history so that it's actually
That
much
would
better,
be nice.
You know,
I'd
'cause I
be
mean-
in for that.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, I mean, overall, so season 2 Mandalorian overall, what'd you think?
Oh, 3 thumbs up, baby.
Oh, I know, eh? Wasn't that friggin' awesome? Just unreal.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm already
just-
hungry for more.
Just to get to see some of what we got to saw, like to see a live action Ahsoka was so cool. Just to get to see Luke again, to see R2, to see,
Yeah.
I'm not a big Boba Fett fan, but I know there's lots of them out there. To see Boba Fett again, like to see
it's
how
awesome.
cool the Mandalorian actually was, to see the kind of person he was, and what he did, and
Yeah.
like it just, and of course Grogu was awesome.
Yeah, of course, that was But yeah, it's really good to get back to the.
I'm disappointed we got to wait a whole year for more.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
Like frig, really? I mean, these shows are only 8 episodes long or 6 episodes long.
that to me that's not a season, really.
That's even still. That means we should be seeing things like every 6 months at least, right? We shouldn't have to wait a whole year for more.
Well, I mean, maybe
they're not giving us a full season, so we shouldn't have to wait a whole year. Like,
well, maybe the actors are doing other things too, and maybe there's probably stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. But for all intent and purpose, when they
just
signed the
saying.
contracts, they should have. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
yeah, I don't
It
know.
is what it is.
All I'm saying is I don't think it's right. I mean, Netflix makes shows, and their original series that get made, we don't have to wait generally a year between them. It's usually roughly every 4 to 6 months that a new season is released.
Well, no,
know?
because Stranger Things has been waiting for the next season for feels like quite a while.
Well, that could be because of the pandemic, but in general, you don't. Like, I remember, like, Orange is the New Black has, like, 7 seasons,
Yeah.
and that aired over a period of, like, 3.5 years.
I watched the
Like,
first 2 and I got tired of it. But
No, but I mean, whether you got tired of it or not has no bearing on how long it took them to make
true.
it. That's what I'm saying. And a lot of their series are like that.
yeah.
It's like 6 months, new season drops. 6 months, a new season drops. And that's all it should be. It shouldn't be like, oh, man. Now, of course, just before we get into Discovery, speaking of Disney Plus seasons and whatever, of course, like I said, WandaVision starting in January.
Yep. 15th, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah.
January 15th. So with WandaVision, what's going to happen is that's part of their multiverse trilogy that they're doing, which is going to be, it's going to start with WandaVision, continue into the next Spider-Man, which is next year, and then it's going to end in Doctor Strange. That's how the story's going to evolve, is over those 3 things. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That
pretty
should be
cool.
something to see
So it'll
how.
be neat. But anyway, let's move on to Discovery. And wah!
Yeah. Wow.
is.
There it is. Yep.
No. Yeah. So Discovery, Terra Firma Part 2. We got to see what happened with Philippa Giorgio.
Yep. Through the rock she goes.
Yep. And we do find out in this episode that was the Guardian of Forever
Yep.
from the original series, which hasn't been seen on screen since the original
That's
series.
right. Exactly.
So,
But
And,
but yeah, so that's who he was, and takes her and goes back. Now you were saying you think it's going to go back to the time of Picard.
Of course, the episode mostly takes place on Terra in the alternate, in the mirror universe in the past. And then when Giorgio comes back, it is where it ends. But he tells her, like, the only way to save you is you need to go back to a time when the Prime and the Mirror universes were still aligned before they had split, which was what had been said in the last episode, that those had started to diverge. So that's before the year 2600, because that happened before the temporal Cold War and the Temporal War and all that. So that being said, the prevailing rumor that I think is probably where they're going to lead it is because she's supposed to head up a Section 31 TV series, which they announced a couple years ago, but haven't gotten to yet. Is that she's going to go back to the early 25th century in the timeline of Picard, where Star Trek Picard is taking place, and that's where it will be, because the universes at that point were still aligned. They were still... So
does that mean we'll get another Picard?
Well, they're still saying there's going to be a season 2. It's supposed to come out in 2021, but I don't know, no word.
Okay, well, maybe that's...
Who knows? I mean, we're getting another season of Discovery. We're supposed to be getting Section 31. We're supposed to be getting another season of Star Trek Lower Decks. There's still supposed to be that Strange New World show with Captain Pike.
Right.
And there's another one called Star Trek Prodigy that's supposed to be another, I believe it's animated one where they're going to have Janeway come back and play Admiral Janeway.
Okay.
You know, so
A lot of stuff coming.
I mean, they're supposed to be. So I mean, who knows? Like, but that would be my guess. So remember, I had said I thought that this guy had to be something like the Q, because he had to be something that was as
that's right.
powerful enough to.
what you
And
said,
sure
yeah.
enough, it was the Guardian of Firma. Now I always assumed, based on what they had established for the Guardian before, was that rock and the planet it was on, and it was just that was not able to move. That's something they've added, I guess, to it. But I mean, they never really went into depth on what it was in the original. Just that it was a gateway to other times and places. They never really.
They didn't go to any elaboration
on it. So this
on it.
is
No.
actually basically says that it's like a sentient portal, whatever, that can move around.
Move around,
and
yep.
stuff.
So who knows?
But in one sense, I was kind of right. It had to be somebody powerful like a Q to be able to do that,
Yeah.
and it was. So, anyway.
So then she's gone.
Yeah. So that's the last we see of her, and
Yeah.
of course, we go back to the Discovery, and of course,
They're toasting her and whatever, but you know.
yeah, that was kind of weird.
Well,
Considering none of them liked her, but then all of a sudden they all did. Like, whatever. But on the conversation that Saru was having with the Admiral, the Admiral was really kind of coming down on him.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, for sure. Here, you want to throw this over? Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I thought it was an okay episode. I've never really been a fan of the way Discovery has handled the mirror universe anyway.
You said that, but
So I would have preferred that they hadn't done that at all. Just.
I mean, well, where the
But
hell could they
whatever.
have taken it? I
But
mean,
whatever,
Christ.
I mean.
Anyway, it's done. So
Yeah.
follow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's like when you go all the way back to season 1, right? Lorca, right? It was from the mirror universe.
Yep.
As we've learned.
That's right.
And for him to have been captain of the Discovery all through season 1 and act like this good, honorable, whatever, like that is so outside the scope of what a Terran would be able to do at that point. That's why I say, like, just the whole way they had handled the mirror universe in this show since the beginning has not been great with me. But I always thought we were going to see Lorca come back. I always thought we were going to see the real Lorca come back, the Prime Universe one come back, but no, never did. But anyway,
Well,
so. But I was like you. I kind of, like you said, you feel it was a filler.
yeah. I felt it was
Kind of feels
a
like a filler to me too. Like it's just like they figured out what's happening. Now they're gonna solve the problem of the burn. But well, it took long enough. Like,
Yeah, to me it was like this Terra Firma 1 and 2 was just a filler to get to where they need to be.
yeah, and basically just to write her out of the show
Yeah, more or less.
to wherever she's going to be for her own show.
Yeah.
So.
That's what it came across to me. It wasn't, like the rest of them, but,
Yeah.
it was just the breadcrumbs in the meatloaf to me, just to keep it,
Yep.
give it a bit
Yep,
of
I
taste
agree.
and a bit of whatever. So hopefully they'll get on to something, now that they've done that. Let's,
Yeah, I agree. Let's hope. Let's hope.
Yep. I'm still enjoying it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, I did
but,
too. I mean, because I think season 3 has been vastly better than the last 2,
Yeah.
and I liked season 2 better than 1.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, the show has been getting better, but like any Star Trek, that's just the way it tends to be. The first season or 2 is always rough, and then by the third one, it's usually they're into their stride and they're starting to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've used the term about, with Back to the Future, from 1 to 2 being the filler and back into 3 doing it. I mean, that's the bridge in between.
Yeah.
It's just you got to take that road to get to where you need to be. And that's sort of what I'm thinking
Now,
this way. But,
I had talked on a vlog about some of the people
You've talked
on
on a lot of
YouTube
vlogs.
who are always coming down on like Star Trek and Star Wars and everything. They're always hammering on it. And one of them that I mentioned was Doomcock from the YouTube channel Overlord DVD. I watched a video of his this week, and he was saying that we now know that Discovery is not actual Star Trek. It's J.J. Abrams' Star Trek from the other time. And I'm like, obviously you didn't watch the episode properly, because it doesn't say that Discovery is from that. The guy that they showed in that Next Generation era Starfleet uniform, he was from the J.J. Abrams universe, who crossed over to the Prime universe. It wasn't that Discovery was like, so
You missed it?
he missed it. Like, he goes off like he's this like guy that seems to know everything or think he knows everything, but I mean, holy frig, buddy! Like, you got to get your facts right. Like, you didn't listen to the episode. You didn't. No.
Missed the boat on that, I guess.
Did, yeah. Like, no. Discovery is Star Trek. It's real Star Trek. Like, Prime Universe Star Trek. Otherwise, they wouldn't be referring to the universes as Prime and Mirror. Prime and Mirror. Because the other is the Kelvin timeline, and that one is not it. So, anyway.
There you go, dude. You missed it.
Yeah. So, perhaps Doomcock, you should turn your ears on a little bit better. Anyway, that said, overall, like, I'm with you. I think it was a filler.
Yeah.
I think there's probably going to only be 3 or 4 episodes left. What? That was 10, so there'll be 11, 12, probably 13.
Yeah.
They usually only have 13, so we're probably looking at 3 more episodes.
Well, good. Let's hope it just...
My guess is they're going to probably have some encounter with the Emerald Chain again before the end of the show, and they're going to probably learn something about the burn and how it was caused, or maybe how it happened altogether. Who knows?
You
But
still say Michael caused it, though.
I still think she's the cause of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was the Red Angel suit.
Well, let's see if we find out then.
You know. So anyway, that is what it is, everybody. So yeah, leave your comments below about what you guys thought. Were you guys just blown away with how Mandalorian ended? I know I was.
Definitely.
I was just super excited. I'm hoping that this means that in the Lando series that's coming, that we get to see a young Luke Skywalker in that as well, because him and Lando did. Remember, Lando said that in Episode 9, that him and Luke had traveled the galaxy for a while doing things.
Wow, that's... yeah.
I'm
Okay.
hoping that's...
Well, maybe that'll
that's
be
what
another way.
happens.
Yep.
Yeah. You never know. I mean, it might not be, but I'm hoping. That said, we'll see you guys for another episode next week. Well, actually, that depends. I'm not sure if Discovery is going to air this week, because with Mandalorian gone, and this week being Christmas,
It might not.
Discovery usually airs on Thursdays here in Canada.
Yep.
So that means that would be Christmas Eve. I don't know if we'll see one Christmas Eve here.
Yeah, might not be.
Anyway, okay.
You can review a burning block on TV.
Just yeah, exactly. Check back, of course. You know, we'll hopefully we'll have something.
If it's not...
If it's not, we'll post a little video update and put it on YouTube, just to say, you know, when we know it's coming back and when we're going to be back with the next episode.
We'll give you something to let you know what's going on, you know.
In the meantime, in case it doesn't, everybody, you know, hope you have a wonderful, Merry Christmas.
That's
and
right.
Happy
Merry
holidays
Christmas,
and
Happy New Year,
stuff.
whatever.
And we will catch you guys for the next episode. Don't forget, leave your comments below, like, subscribe, and
Click
check
that
out
little
all
bell,
of our
everything.
click up the notification bell and check out our other videos. We've got so many really cool Jersey Ham videos, and of course, All in the
So much
Pen
more
starts
coming.
January 9th.
Yep.
That is our first episode of All in the Pen. So check that out. You're really gonna get a good chuckle out of it. We'll talk to you then.
Have a good one, guys. See you then.